What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Will coming at you with another DIY. This is a 2015 BMW 328i. This is the N20 engine. This is how you're going to change the oil on the N20 motor. This is used across a wide variety of BMWs with the 28i nomenclature and the 20i nomenclature. So very common motor across the entire lineup. Everything from minis to 5 series. I don't think they put anything that small into 7 series. But yeah, so this is how you change the oil, so let's go ahead and get right into it. First thing I like to do is deal with the oil filter while the car is still on the ground. It's just a little easier to do it then, and then we'll jack it up. So first, let's deal with this oil filter. So this is just a standard BMW oil filter wrench attachment. Have some shop towels or something to catch any oil that spills so it doesn't get in the alternator, anything like that. And there is some oil seepage right now. Try to drain off any excess. So at this point, I just have the spot where the oil filter goes just covered with a shop towel just to prevent any debris from getting in. And now I'm going to get the 2 gaskets off of the oil filter cap. So there's a big black one here towards the bottom. Just using a pick tool, just kind of grab it and pull it on off. And then there's a little green one towards the top. It's a little more difficult. So for this particular car, we are using a Mann filter, an HU816Z kit. This is basically the same kit that I use for my 335i, but it has a different drain bolt. So this car actually uses a plastic oil pan, and so they have a plastic drain bolt that's a one-time use, and it looks something like that, if you can see in there, little ABS plastic or something. And you're only supposed to do it to 8 Newton meters, so that's like hand tight basically. So I'm just gonna use it's a 10 millimeter hex bolt. I'm just gonna go hand tight with it. So now we'll put the new gaskets onto the oil filter using a little bit of oil to lubricate them. Just using a little bit of fresh oil. In this case, I'm using Shell Rotella 5W40 T6. Okay, so at this point I have the new ones on. I just lubricated it with a little bit of my new oil. We're using Shell Rotella T6 5W40. This is diesel oil. I've been using diesel oil in my M54 for a while. I did a little research. People are running this in N20s all the time. It's superior protection, more detergents. And these are, designed a lot like diesels with direct injection, turbocharging. So, I really like this oil. I think it's good, and that's what we're running in this car. So I've got that on now to go ahead and put the filter on it too. So we can just kind of set this in there. Not going to tighten it all the way, just set it on there so it's easier for the oil to drain. And now let's go ahead and put the car up in the air. Okay, so I could not find the center jacking point on this car at all. There's like a fabric something down there. So I didn't even worry about it. Thankfully, this car has jacking points where you can still put jack stands under it, unlike the E90. Okay, so there's this little patch area that pulls down, and that's the 10 millimeter Allen key that we're going to need to take out. And we'll be throwing that away and replacing it. So it doesn't really matter if that falls in with the oil or anything. And I have my drain thing right below it. So this is the new drain bolt that I showed you earlier when it was still in the bag. So we'll be replacing it with this one, and it says to go to 8 Newton meters, which I think is like 5 foot-pound of torque, or basically just hand tight. So I'm just gonna go till it's snug. It's got a pretty thick washer on there, and it's not like the N54 where it has like a washer and you need to, put a good bit of, I think that goes to like 17 foot-pound, or I don't really know. I just do it snug and then about a quarter turn, and that's pretty good. It never leaks, but yeah, anyway, time to put this on. Okay, so at this point I put the new drain bolt on it, and I just did it till it was, snug, basically. So I did it, as far as I could go with my fingers, and then just went with the ratchet until it was snug, and I started having to apply force to it. So it was 8 Newton meters is barely anything. So basically at the point where I needed to apply force, it has little clicks, like clicking things on it, so I went about like 3-4 clicks after I started having to put force on it, and then stopped there. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up now. So first thing I'm gonna do is tighten down the oil filter, and then start filling it up. And then we'll run it, make sure it's not leaking any oil out of that drain bolt at the bottom, and then take it for a test drive. So as I said before, I'm using Shell Rotella 5W40. Each one of these is a gallon. We're going to be using 5 liters, about 5.5 quarts. So this is 4 quarts. Alright, so at this point I filled the car with oil, the bolt's on, I've tightened down the oil filter, so now it's time to start it and make sure that it's not leaking, because I've never done one of these before with the plastic drain bolt, and I'm a little concerned that I didn't tighten it enough, that I might have been being overcautious. So I'm going to start it, run the car, and watch to make sure if it's dripping or not, and then we'll see if it is dripping. We'll tighten it a little bit more, and if it's not, then we know we're good. Turn the car on into accessory mode. Then press and hold the button that will reset the trip computer. You'll see it reset to 0 and then switch back to whatever it was before. Just keep holding it, and then you'll have the option to reset the engine oil. Press it again. It'll say reset with a question. Press it again, and then hold it while it says reset in progress. So it'll take a second, and then you've reset your oil, trip computer. With the car in park or neutral on a flat surface, go to vehicle info, then vehicle status, then measure engine oil level, then choose start measurement. This will be grayed out unless the vehicle is at operating temperature and in park or neutral. This will take several minutes. As you can see, this is sped up quite quickly. And then at the end, your oil level should be between the max and min on the right hand side of the screen. Preferably if you just change your oil, it should be right at the top at max, like this is. So in conclusion, guys, this is how you change the oil on a BMW N20 motor. This engine can be found across many different BMWs and Minis. As always, guys, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and also check out my Amazon page if you've seen anything in any of my videos that you like or interested in. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.